Welcome back, my pre-PulseChain chocolate muffins. This is a very fitting time to talk about some COPE, the money market COPE. So this is the HEX price chart as we wait until PulseChain down 53%, and this is in a very short amount of time. People are dumping on the rumor that the snapshot's done. This is only 30 hours or so. Just think about that. That's 50% drop in 24 hours. That's how thin this thing is. I want you to know there is some COPE going around. It's been going around for a long time. Ever since I made my first PulseChain and PulseX videos, a lot of people have said, we're going to go infinite to the moon. We have no cap. We're going to go much higher than you think. People aren't going to dump because of X reason, X, Y, Z. And I say, well, I hope so, man. I really hope so, because I'm long with you. And I sacrificed a lot. I got Pulse, I got PulseX, got me HEX. Not selling a single thing, waiting till 2025. But don't fool yourself. We can't escape gravity. Some people get upset because they see the Bitcoin correlation with HEX and they're like, ugh, that's not supposed to happen. Look, it happens, okay? Correlations drift in and out. So we've already squashed that belief. You know it can happen at any time. Now, what about this? The money market COPE. So now's a good time to talk about it. You just saw 50% swing down by 3 people, man. 3 people clicking 10 million, 10 million, 10 million, and they got plenty more. So one guy still got 30 million liquid. He's got like 180 million. Just one guy. One. And I want you to take note here. There were many polls I saw in the last month, and it was always asking everybody, maybe you've seen them, a couple of polls on Twitter, they said, hey, are you going to sell your HEX on Ethereum? What are you going to do with it? Easy. 90% plus every single time. Everyone said, nope, I'm holding. 90 to 95%. And I looked at it and I was like, uh-oh, I know how this is going to play out. Instantly. Bang. Think about this. There are, I think one of the polls had 1,800 people. So it doesn't matter that 1,700 of you are bullish with me on HEX with Ethereum. It doesn't matter. All it took was 3 people. 3 people to say, give me that money out of the liquidity pool. That's it. I'm done. And they send this crashing to the floor. Just 3. That's it. So look at this, okay? 3 people send it down 53% in just like a day and a half. Now, where are we going with this? Do you see a lot of people talk about 1,000x PulseChain, 1,000x PulseX, and a lot of these big numbers. I want them. I really want them. 1,000x from day one sacrifice, because I don't think anyone's going to really settle for this. If there's an imaginary print and it opens low and some bot or someone gets to get it for 99% from day one, I don't think you're going to be too happy if that's the chart that's thrown in front of your face, you know, because that's almost like when you're up at 10x, if someone is posting a chart saying, wow, we're up 1,000x from the low already, it basically, what people do when they do that, they do it to tilt you, to make you angry, because they're effectively saying, you bought the top, now you're onside only a 10x, the low was 1,000x, therefore, if you lose money from here, you're stupid. So that's why people post that chart. They throw it in your face, because what they say is, well, you are now getting greedy because you're already up 1,000x. You should get out, right? Because the whole asset's up 1,000x, but not from your price. So that's something you have to think about, keep in mind, right? It's what people do to troll each other. Okay, I'm just preparing you. These are the types of psychological games people do just to crush others. It's all a game, right? So the big whales, everybody had a dream that the big whales would not sell. They said they're not going to sell their HEX, Pulse, or PulseX because they said many have a dream, the big whales, they're not going to dump them, but instead they'll use a money market to borrow against their position. So for example, Aave. So they said, okay, well, if someone has $1 billion, okay, if someone has $1 billion, instead of selling it, theoretically what they're going to do is they're going to go to the money market and they're going to deposit their billion or like 400 million, and they're going to collect like 100 million out, and they're going to borrow on it. And this is a fantasy. So effectively, instead of selling on the pool, they go to the money market, they deposit, they get credits. It's like going to a bank, right? You get a loan, and they're able to withdraw money out of the money market, the DeFi money market, and then the interest rates will adjust and everything will be dandy. Unfortunately, this does not prevent dumps. This doesn't prevent dumps in the real world. This doesn't prevent dumps in the stock market, property market. This didn't prevent dumps in Ethereum and Bitcoin in 2022 in the bear market. Doesn't prevent dumps. Because you will notice in my liquidity videos I've made on YouTube, if you watch them again, I'll make more in the future, that it doesn't take much to crush the price beyond imagination. Because the liquidity is only like 3 to 5% of the valuation of a market cap. 3 to 5%. So if there's a 100 million valuation for a coin, all you need is $3 million to sell down of that 100 million. Go to Uniswap, go look at all the liquidities out there. That's how much you need to absolutely obliterate it. And you might say, oh, no one's going to do that and slip it. Well, let me tell you something. If you have a big position and you've borrowed, it is public information. Everybody in the world can see where you get liquidated. So imagine in the future, there was a guy like, oh, he's got $100 million in Hex. Yeah, his liquidation's at 4 cents. All you have to do is like say, okay, I'm going to borrow like, $8 million worth, and I'm just going to sell and dump it down to 3 cents, get him out. Because if you dump it down, because it's so thin, what's going to happen is this guy's position, he's got $100 million. He has to force sell. So he is going to have a big fat offer that appears at the floor, and then you get to gobble it up. So you'll get to buy with $100 million worth because you know you're the one that pushed it down there. This is what's been happening since the beginning of time. This happened in Bitcoin, happened in Ethereum. This is how they really do manipulation. But with a thin market, you're inviting everybody to do that. So a lot of people have this dream that, oh no, these whales are just going to sit here and they're not going to dump. Wrong. I'm here. Look, I'm just going to ask you these questions. I'm trying to protect you, okay? Let me ask you this. So would you borrow $100 million on leverage when you know your underlying asset, Hex, PulseChain, PulseX, they can drop 53% in one day just from 3 guys clicking? Just 3 guys. And they can band together. These people, they're all friends. Of course, if you don't know, there's already groups out there. They did collective sacrifices. I already know there's already people out there, whales, sharks, different size positions. They can hunt anyone down. They've got a couple of 100 million Hex between them. So this is the type of game you are now stepping into if you participate in this money market stuff. Because you're going to be most likely borrowing with the retailers. Everybody's borrowing to get long. You open yourself up. That liquidity pool stays thin. Okay? So this whole dream of we're never going to dump, well, I'm just to let you know, man. Firstly, now you know it's a game. So none of this operates in a vacuum. None of it operates just in open air. It's not one player mode. You are thinking about everybody else. So these people, when you have hundreds of millions of dollars, and by the way, let's continue because you're probably wondering who's going to have hundreds of millions of dollars, right? Well, look at this, okay? One guy, Wallet DO1, sacrificed $14 million for PulseX. He has $800,000 for Pulse. He's got $14 million of PulseX. He had 280 million Hex. So he sold Hex at minus 97% down. Wallet DO1 is one of the 4 poopy horsemen. He was one of the people. So you're wondering, why did Hex go down that low? Well, you're looking at him, man. You're looking at one guy. There were 4 of them there, but this is one of them. He's got $14 million in PulseX. So he has demonstrated to you that is a weak paper hand. Okay, so you've seen this. You've seen just because someone has a lot of money does not mean they are particularly good at execution or that they're smart or that they're diamond hands or anything. It doesn't mean anything. It's just the digits are higher for them. Don't think these people are super smart. If you start thinking they're super smart, you might accidentally follow them and you get absolutely ruined one day. So you don't want to be on the same side as them. Okay, you want to be long term. Don't worry about them. Stay in my baby doll, baby cake community. You are a beautiful chocolate muffin. We are going to make it. You got your posture straight. You got your fluffy slippers. Just think about this, okay? Do you think it's more likely that someone like Wallet DO1 at 100x he's got a $1.4 billion? Do you think it's more likely that he's going to degen into a money market and reveal to the whole world his liquidation price? Do you think he's going to do that? Because if he goes and borrows, it's public information, and there will be websites where you can already see them on Aave. There are protocols which show you big position liquidations. So when everything was capitulating in May of June 2022, everybody could see Justin Sun's liquidation price for Ethereum. I think it was like $700, or Justin Sun was going to get liquidated. He had like I think $400 or $800 million. And then, this is the funniest part, friends. He has an assistant. Justin's son was on a plane. He was going to get liquidated. He had to call his assistant because he was on a plane for 24 hours, and his assistant had to deposit like thousands of Ethereum and drag his liquidation price down to like $400 because he was going to get wiped out. Now, he has plenty of more money out there, but that's just to show you the type of risk that gets invited with these types of games. And they all know this. And let me ask you this. Ethereum still dropped 80% like a rock. Did that prevent it from tanking? It didn't. Having all these money markets and all these borrowing and doing collateralized debt and doing all these getting DAI did not stop anything at all. It did not. Think about this. Okay, you're gonna have to know if you forget my video here today, then it's honestly it's on you because you've now been warned. Because if this was the trick, I'd be making 10 videos a day about it, but clearly I'm not. So I think it's more likely. I know. I want to believe that someone like Wallet DO1 has learned. I want to believe that this person. So if you're wondering what happened, so Wallet DO1, rough numbers, had like 280 million hex or something. He had $140 million net worth at the top of hex, at the very top. He sold a bit. He did not sell all of it. He waited until Genius here, instead of selling at the top, what he decided was a good idea. Okay. So instead of selling or everything up here, he waited until down here. Let's actually zoom in. All right. This is when he decided it was a great time to sell hex. So he waited after 96, 97%. He waited down here and he said, yes, now it's a perfect time to sell. And he got rid of it. He got absolutely crushed us. You can actually go back. I know the candles exactly where he was dumping. This is one of his dumps right here. Do you see this part? This was him. This was one final splash again. He just got rid of like the final 40 or 80 million again. So yes, it was him doing that. And luckily it got gobbled up, right? But hey, he's out of this now. He's going to get, I think, 190 million hex in 2029. So he's got a 10-year stake. You already know what he's going to do with that, right? He's going to dump the hell out of that. But he's got 14 million in PulseX. So this is just something to think about. So this is not FUD. This is not bull news. This is, you're going to war. You want to know the players. So don't think just because you are in La La Land and everything's euphoric that this time is going to be different. Because it's not going to be, man. It's not. Okay, but it's going to be very easy to be told and to believe that this time is different because everyone wants to believe this time is different. Now, what's the $1 million question? The $1 million question is, when is everybody going to say this time is different? Is it if PulseChain is 10x, 100x, 1000x? 10,000x, we don't know. But you've got to think about this. I've already told you a paper hand at 100x, he has $1.4 billion. All right. So, and the chances of just this one dude dumping, knowing that these types of charts happen, it makes you think. All right. So when you consider, you got to think about this when you consider your crypto bull cycle plan. That's it. What do I mean by this? You already know what I mean. It means don't tell me you are now bullish on the ecosystem in October 2024. I don't want to hear that from you. You get in now. You get aggressive now and you DCA as much as you can. I don't want to see you buying anything next year. I actually don't want to see you DCAing anything in 2024. Honestly, you had all of 2022. You've had all of this year as well. And the crypto market's basically still been scamming us. It's like so overdue to go up. You got no excuses. I don't want to see, please, anybody's going to hurt yourself. I know what happens every time. Unfortunately, some of you, yes, your baby dolls with straight backs, but some people, they just they go astray a bit. You know, they throw $5,000 clips down here, and then after it's 8x higher, they increase their clip size to 60K, right? And then if it goes even higher than that, it becomes even bigger. So you got to do the inverse. You go harder now, right? This is what happens. But when you are so deep, you invite trouble. You want to be playing from a position of strength. If you are allocated today with me and this works out, we will have a rational mind. Our hearts are pure. We have very straight backs, eating our bananas, orange juice with 3 ice cubes. Everything is going well if you are playing from a position of strength. When you start playing from a position of weakness and you're going off emotion, you are going to start believing about these money market stuff, for example. You're going to believe these other things. You're going to say, no, we're not done yet. So please don't think there's no narrative that can trick you. There's always a story that can trick you. They'll say, well, this coin did this much. We should be able. People do the anchoring. They say, oh, the dog coin did this and the frog coin did that. We should be 1,000x. We should be 300x. Anything to get you holding, and the crowd will hold. I just want you to know, for every benevolent dictator out there, you're going to have a poopy McPoop face out there lurking. So you don't want to be in a money market when this person himself can literally absolutely crush the price. Just one person. And don't rely on him using a money market, because he knows if he gets in, then he's going to have three to five sharks targeting him and targeting his position. People do that. There are predators out there. They do that. You can't get hurt if you're in spot. You can't get hurt. It'll be volatile, up and down, left, right. You're earning yield. These games, they have a duration on them. They can't last forever. Okay? So you get the point now. I'm telling you, please, don't use money markets, because, look, I've even said this. I'll tell you right now. Look at this part. You will make money on the way up. You will. I'm not lying to you. You will make money on the way up. If it goes up and you're leveraged, you're going to make money. But then you will get crushed one day and you will lose it all. I promise you that. You'll get, because look, Hex dropped from the top 97% in a straight line. Okay. What do you think is going to happen next time? Do you think PulseChain and PulseX, how far do you think they're going to drop from the top? How far do you think Hex is going to drop for the top? I don't know the answer, but I'll tell you right now, if you're wrong, you lose everything. So it's fatal. So it doesn't even matter what our opinion is. I would love them to drop only 50% from their tops. But if you're leveraged, this is the sad part, friends, even if you're leveraged like just 20%, if the things drop 80% from the top, you're wrecked. You are absolutely destroyed. And don't think it's going to be easy, because I want you to know, look how long it stays down here. So what if the charts in the future, like look how long you're in death and destruction mode here for 357 days. Imagine you had collateral. Imagine you had money market borrowing for Hex, PulseChain, PulseX. You're playing around, doing all this stablecoin trash. Imagine you have to sit for over 1 year praying it goes up. And by the way, who's to say a black swan doesn't come in the next bear market and someone just goes, see you later? I know this is negative numbers, but they can do that. Of course they can do that, because they know they're getting out people. This is the problem. Once you show the world where you get liquidated, you reveal your Achilles heel, your weak spot. It gets told to everybody. It says, hey, my maximum pain threshold is like 1 cent. So that's it. Everyone knows, okay, there is $8 million in the liquidity pool. All I got to do is sell X amount of Hex. They can calculate it. That's how sad it is. They can literally calculate how to be a hitman assassin and just take you out. So if you and I know this game already, now it makes you think. If there are whales out there lurking, they know this game too. So don't rely on them sitting on their hands, never selling, etc. Okay, so you got to have a plan at some point. I know you're going to have a plan, okay? So we're all excited for PulseChain. Everything's going to go well if you stick to the plan. The plan is we've bought in the depression. We're holding through the depression. Most of crypto is a freaking scam. We're still over 90% down. It's very disastrous. But at least we can sleep at night knowing they can't liquidate us. And no one can liquidate our friendship either. You're going to tell mum and dad that you love them? I'll catch you in the next one, friends.